Hello, my name is Suniti Bushan Datta and welcome to my LifePage. Um, just to tell you a little about myself, I did my schooling from the Doon School, and after I passed out of the Doon School, I went on to do my bachelor's degree in zoology from Bombay, from Wilson College, Bombay. And then I took a long break. I went off to South India and I worked as a wildlife guide at the Nagarhole National Park. And then I came back to Dehradun and I joined the Wildlife Institute of India to do my master's in wildlife sciences. And ever since I finished with my MSc, I've actually been doing freelance work as a wildlife biologist, as a consultant wildlife biologist with different organizations, with educational organizations, with NGOs, and with the Forest Department. Wildlife biology is basically the study of wildlife and the environment and how wildlife actually interacts with the environment. And when I talk about the environment, I'm also including humans. How we interact with wildlife in terms of how does it impact us, how do we impact wildlife, and how it impacts how much how much impact we have on the environment, and what it means to our life as human beings. Working knowledge of ecology and of biology. Why this is important is because you'll be studying, for the most part, animals. So you need to know animal systems and ecology. Ecology is basically the study of how animals react with the environment. So you need to understand the environment as well. One, of course, is observation, because when you're out in the forest, in an ecosystem, I think you need to have the skills to be able to observe nature very minutely. Sometimes it could be looking at something like a small insect and how it's interacting with the plants it's sitting on. But it could be anything even as big as an elephant, and how the elephant is behaving and why it's behaving in a certain way. So you have to, observation is the hallmark of a wildlife biologist. Sometimes you're working with large mammals like tigers or elephants, but even if you're working with something like butterflies or with insects or with fish, it's life is never, each day, I would say that as a wildlife biologist, no day is ever ordinary. It's always it's always an exciting day in some way or another. Is that you don't always have a fixed schedule. I mean, I would actually say it's a challenge as well as an advantage, in as much that if you're used to people going to office at 9 o'clock, coming back at 5 o'clock, wildlife biology is very different. We don't have set hours. Sometimes your hours are dependent on what wildlife you're working on. So, for example, if you're working on elephants are active right through the day to half the night. So sometimes you'll actually be following the animal all through the day into the night. In the field, sometimes you go to sleep at sunset, you wake up at sunrise. So it's never a fixed schedule. Your day-to-day schedule is never the same always. So that can sometimes not have a good effect. But I would actually say that it keeps you it keeps you on your toes, because it's never a fixed schedule. So I work on elephants, and some of my research is on elephants. So typically when I'm in the field, I'll wake up very early in the morning. I'll wake up at about 4:30, 5 o'clock. And what we do is, my field assistants and I, we cook breakfast, we make breakfast, and we also cook lunch. And then we pack the lunch, and then we go off into the field, and we're basically walking in the jungle, sometimes 10, 15 kilometers a day. And what we do is, depending on my research, I'm collecting data, and then we'll stop, we'll have lunch, maybe rest for a little while during the heat of the afternoon, and then we'll start walking again, keep collecting data depending on what I'm working on. And at the end of the day, you come back and you're very tired, so you make a very quick dinner. You're back by about 5, 6 o'clock depending on the season, and you make dinner, and basically where you have electricity, you can read for a little while. If you don't have electricity, you light a candle or something, and You read for a little bit, you collate all the data for the day, you sit and talk to your field assistants, you discuss the next day, and then you go to sleep. So it's actually a fairly simple day, but it's physically very exhausting sometimes. Mentally it's very exhausting because sometimes you can have encounters with wildlife. So your day, like I said, your day is never the same from one day to the next. So it's actually really interesting. Your day is never ordinary. It's always an interesting day. So to conclude, I hope I've given you a balanced view of what being a wildlife biologist is all about. I can tell you as a wildlife biologist myself, it's the best profession in the world. Thank you.